So you could say the egoic mind sloughs off, and all that remains is the universal mind. Because we get caught up in the word mind. Ego is mind. The egoic mind sloughs off. So you are eliminating the mind that you think is real. You are eliminating mind. Ego is mind, but it's the false mind. That's false knowledge. To reveal the true knowledge, the true one reality, the true mind in its pure form, the one mind of awareness. And I think the tears of joy is that there's like twofold to that. You've realized how hard you've been working, and you've also realized at the same time that you have found the answer. And there's this massive relief. And that's the joy. Like, oh, I found it. There might need to be some quote unquote work being done, which is, again, the paradox. The work is the relinquishing. But you're here. You found it. You found the answer. And there is an end. This is the end. And from the end, there's only a clarity happens. It will never reveal itself to a point to where you can get self. But there is this deepening, this clarity that will happen the remainder of your life. So there's an end, and then there's clarity from here on out. And that clarity is the mystery. That's the awe, that's the perplexity, that's the childhood wonder that you never want to go away. You never want there to be a true end. Because that would take this awness away. The awness of this, we get to experience this, and it won't let you know what it is, but it's going to lure, it's going to show itself off. And in that's the playfulness. That's what you've known since you were a child. That's what are coming back to. That's what you've known your whole life. You've touched on it from time to time. The moment you go and try and grab it, it disappears. That is true childhood memories from by the time you just remembered to being alive until 6 or 7, or somewhere in there, that you saw this world in its true form. And you're heading back to that. But you won't lose any knowledge. You won't lose anything you've learned along the way. You will still know how to do everything. What sloughs off is the agitation. Everything that we want. Get rid of the agitation so I can be in peace. And then when I am teaching meditation or yoga or whatever I'm doing in my life, I am as present as I possibly can be. That is the greatest gift, is you being all there for whoever you're there with. And in self-inquiry, you'll experience your mind and body wanting you to move away from yourself. It will create tendencies to move you from here. Ego doesn't exist here and now. So it's going to say, if one of the big ones is in your mind is, it's boring. This is boring, has no value, or what are you going to do without me if I really go away, right? So it'll try and scare you or bore you, or and in your body, it will create tendencies for you to want to get up and move away from meditation. It's recognizing those, oh, there's my mind. It's creating fear. It's just doing what a mind does. So we don't deny anything here. We just let it do what it does. And eventually, it'll also do what a mind does. Move on to something else, right? Because it's a state. Talked about it. It's not a way, it's a state. So it's going to jump around. So watch it jump around. Same with your body. I mean, the tendencies, that's kind of like the real relaxation. You got to relax into these tendencies that want to move you away. You've got to relax into those. And the more you relax into those, the more they'll go away. It's just like breaking a bad habit. Same thing. We have designed ourselves that we've got a million little tendencies within us that kind of create who we think we are. And it's kind of like you've got to take each one of those one by one as they come up. And the more that you relax into those, it'll die down until it relaxes back into self and diminishes. So this is the learning part when you're in self-inquiry. This is what you're quote unquote learning. And this is the path being destructed. And so you can say the path or all of these tendencies, like our paths are already created. We're just disassembling those paths. It's an analogy is each one of these tendencies to move away from ourselves is like a slinky, right? So we spend our whole life becoming something that we're not, and that's energy in, and we're pulling this slinky away from ourselves. And the relaxation doesn't require new energy. It requires the relaxation of the energy that's already in that slinky or in that system. So nothing new is happening. There's just a relinquishing of what's already there. When there's no movement in your mind and body, that's peace. I was watching a Rupert Spira clip that I can tell from his background when he is at the place where I've seen him a couple times. So I tend to click on those to hear like, oh, I know that person and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I clicked on one, and it was a good friend who I'd met down there. His name's Jonathan. And, Jonathan was living in fear and anxiety. Jonathan asked, is it truly possible to live a life without anxiety? And Rupert said, yes, absolutely. And it's when you experience what we've just experienced in that directly, and you rest in that and go, oh, this is reality. This is reality, not the irritations that come. This is reality. You realize, you trust that, yes, you can live a life of no irritation, no agitation. And all it takes is just turning your attention back to it, back to it, back to it. You're just training yourself to just know it relative to anything else. I mean, you are that already. Oh yeah, I know it well. I've lived in it. I lived in fear for several years. Yeah. My business got out of control. It turned upside down, put all this pressure on me and my partner, and it didn't sit well with me. Way too much responsibility, financial chaos. I just lived in fear. I bathed in it, and I was it. And so it was about a year ago that I've been in this message. It's known as the direct path for about 3 years. So I knew the answer. I knew that there was a place that I knew I could come back home to myself, but I couldn't free up enough time to sit with myself long enough. And about a year ago, I just said, I totally surrender. I'm giving up everything. Shut my business down. I just said, I don't care if I make money. We'll go backwards. I don't fucking care because it doesn't matter. Happiness matters. Mm-hmm. And in that relinquishing, that learning how to let go is when just all of these experiences happened. And I've come home to myself. And I'm never going to leave this place ever again. Ever. And I want to share it because there's so many people that are not doing well right now. Yeah. This world is not happy. And we continue to look in every other place but ourselves. Anybody who's interested in it, I'm willing to share it because it's so simple. It's everything that we want, that we've been looking for.